little bit of a new background for me today here. Nice little pool. I-95 in the background. Down here in West Palm Beach. Came down last night, or yesterday I should say, like yesterday morning, to go see Mamma Mia, which I had seen through the years about 5 or 6 times. My wife had never seen the stage show, so we decided to come down here when we found out they were back out on the road and went to see the show. It was kind of interesting. I made the reservation on my IHG Hotels app, you know, like Holiday Inn. This was supposed to be a Holiday Inn Express, and then we got down here and discovered that just last Monday it turned into a new, you know, a Hyatt, and you know, they were still honoring the reservations and all of that for, you know, for the Holiday Inn and stuff. But my Silver Elite status and all that shit didn't get me any extra perks or anything. But can't complain, it was a nice room. Only problem is that it was, and the AC dried the air out like crazy, and now my throat is so dry. So, came out to my truck to grab a bottle of water. But I was, just wanting to make a quick little video. It's kind of funny, my wife showed me a comment on this one video I did the other day. Oh yeah, there's a train next door too here. Fortunately, you couldn't hear that in the room with the big heavy clothes, you know, curtains all closed. It's a pretty nice hotel. It's not a Holiday Inn Express anymore though. It's I forget what they're calling it now. It's around the other side. Let me take a drink here. Had a couple of bottles up in the room. Drank them all. Forgot to get more out of the truck. But I did a video a while back, which was obviously just a joke, a parody kind of thing, you know, which anybody with their, you know, brain switched on certainly was going to recognize was a parody. It was like a Philippines immigration update, letting you know that the requirement that you own a Filipina before you move to the Philippines has now been dropped, you know, which is obviously a joke. But some guy wanted to tell me, you know, went into this big comment about how there's never been a requirement for, you know, for you to be within Filipina and all this shit. And how I don't know what I'm talking about. He had no idea what I was talking about, and obviously neither do I. Maybe he was trying to parrot Donald Trump in his debate the other night where he says, I don't know what he said, and I don't think he does either. I don't know. But it was hilarious. So it just got me thinking though. I used to have a channel a long time ago called Dumageddon Expat, a parody. And the problem with that channel, there's a guy out there, a British guy, I think he still has a channel now called The Road Less Traveled. He used to, you know, operate some call centers and stuff in the Philippines back in the day. And he moved back off to Spain or so. I think he's in Spain now. I forget exactly where he is. Took his kids back there to, you know, learn another language and see some more of the world. And he's still making videos. But I had talked to him before I started that channel, and he warned me a lot of people just wouldn't get the joke, you know. And he was right. It's amazing. The word a parody was right there in the title of the channel, and people still didn't get it. But the reason is, first of all, a lot of people are too stupid to get any kind of joke because, you know, they just don't have They're just not sharp enough to get a joke, you know. They can't tell when you're joking. There you go. It's a Delta by Marriott. They can't tell when you're joking. For a lot of people, it's because they can't handle being joked about, you know. They, you know, you better not try to tell a joke about them. You know, that's the way it is today in a lot of things, you know. You know, the world of humor is kind of dead because no one can handle having somebody tell a joke about them or laughing at them. Everybody takes themselves so seriously. But yeah, I made a video one time, like for instance, I was thinking about resurrecting a couple of these. If I can dig out the ancient laptop that the stuff was stored on or whatever. Like I did one about the, you know, an expat, you know, begging his viewers to help him buy a drone so he can make better videos and stuff. Yeah, I had this big thing in there talking about how, you know, over here in the Philippines, it's more of a matriarchal society. And so we have this thing called Matrion instead of Patreon. And trying to get people to send me money on Matrion to help me buy a drone for them. It was all for them, of course, you know, to help make better videos and stuff for them. Of course, the people got the joke were like, hey man, sign me up, you know. And, but there are certain things, you know, like with one video, as we all know, there are about 10,000 more fake Navy SEALs in the world than there are actual real Navy SEALs. And like the one video I was talking about, like me and some of my ex-SEAL friends, you know, and people just didn't get the fact that this shit was a joke, making fun of people. And that's the problem though, when you run into, whenever you do something that's making fun of people, you know, you got these people that want to take sides about everything and try and destroy everyone, you know. You see it even today. It was even worse in some ways back in the, you know, back for those of you who have been around for a while, you know, like Peter Vander versus the Sexpats and all that crazy shit, which was, you know, it was hilarious. You know, by Peter's definition, of course, you know, I would be one of those Sexpats. You know, I've got a wife who's like 30 years younger than me. But a lot of guys can't handle having things pointed out to them, you know. And so it was a big, huge deal, big fight. And he was always using other YouTubers' names and their channels to like get views and everything. And, you know, so I ended that channel just because being involved in all that shit, it's just, it's pointless, you know, and having people, you know, the battle lines are drawn. Anytime you're doing something where you're, you know, criticizing a certain group of people or making fun of things, you're going to end up having, you know, hard feelings. And then you get involved, you get these other people who, if you say anything nice about the side of the issue that they don't agree with or that's coming after them, oh, then they want to come after you, you know, and it just gets personal, you know, and they want to, you know, just start being a jerk to you too. And it's just not worth getting involved in all that stuff. I'd rather just make some videos about things that I care about and some travel stuff. Eventually, when I get back over in the Philippines, obviously it'd be nice to be able to do some more travel-oriented stuff. When I first started this channel, it was called Kano Daily, and it was going to be more kind of a travel-related thing. I was in a totally different life situation back then too, and you know, that's like, well, for one person said that I should probably stop calling it Kano Daily and change it to like Kano Monthly or something, because I never made any videos. And you know, I'm here over here in America for probably another couple of years at least before I decide to actually retire and move over there. But I've been involved in this whole Philippines thing for a long time, you know, and seen a lot of the players come and go. You know, some of these guys who, you know, there's some of these guys on YouTube, you won't find it now because they've taken the shit down and hidden it all probably. You know, unless you want to send them money to get dating advice from them and have them help you learn how to hook up with Filipinas. You know, there's some of these guys, rather well known, you know, respected guys in the community who used to put out videos, you know, back in their early days, hanging out at the Why Not and Dumageddon, and you know, putting up videos about going out on dates with minors, always with the chaperone, of course, you know, and stuff like that, and talking about things like that, who, you know, they're clearly over there just to find young girls to hook up with. But that was the whole point of my video over there. All these guys, you see them bitching about, you know, finding a woman who isn't going to be a burden to them and can help them, you know, with their expenses. If they're going to be involved with somebody, it has to be somebody that can help them out, has a job, help them out with their expenses. And so I was just pointing out to people, you know, instead of bitching about all that shit, you can just move to the Philippines and be an old retired guy, and you don't need to have some young girl in your life. You know, you're not required to own a Filipina to move to the Philippines. You don't have to move over there and get involved with some woman and have her take all your money. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it, you know. Oh well, you know, that's life. But people move over there. It's like that guy, I think his name is Chris, a Brit in the Philippines. You know, this is another thing way back in the old times. A guy named Jack Northrop had the channel. And this British guy went over there. He was going to do his experiment to prove that you could live over in the Philippines on $600 a month. And he didn't have money to get involved with some woman, start a family. You know, first of all, he kind of he got into a big tiff with Jack Northrop and his wife, and they had a big falling out on YouTube. It was fun, and yeah, but after Northrop got all of us to go and sub to the guy and help him out, help him start his channel, then I guess he wasn't needed anymore. And then of course this other guy was he was actually one of the people, not the only one of the people, probably the one I was thinking about when I made the video about the drone, who wanted people to help him buy a drone, you know, so he could help make better videos for his viewers and stuff. But there was a lot of drama. There always is. If you move over to the Philippines with a limited budget, you probably shouldn't be worrying about finding a woman. Let's be blunt, man. You know, you get older. I'll be 61 a few months down the road. You know, my wife asked me one time, well, of course we've got a house built over there and everything, you know, and she's like, you know, that's your house. You can't own it, obviously, but you know, that's your home. You know, we've got a couple of nieces living there and her mom. We're actually planning to adopt those two nieces, you know, in which case they would be my daughters. You know, she's like, even if something happens to me, that's your house, you know. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, maybe things will change after I'm actually over there living in it, but I can't picture moving over there and living in a house, you know, without her there. But she wanted to know if I was going to get involved with somebody else if something happened to her. We were having a discussion about life insurance one day or something. Oh, there's a nice little private jet. I'm not sure if it's showing up. Oh no, I had it pointed. It's come out the other side of the building, hopefully. Nice little jet. There we go. That's the way to travel. But I told her, man, I'm almost 61 years old, you know. I mean, I'm not in as bad a shape as some guys. But, you know, it's just, it was never my plan in life to start getting to the age where, you know, you're not thinking about sex all the time and walking around obsessed with stuff like that. And then go find some young woman to get married to, you know. It's not like I had a plan in life to do that. And, you know, I was actually kind of feeling relieved at sometimes, you know, back in the day, like getting to the point in life where it just wasn't an obsession of mine all the time. And, you know, then you get married to some young woman and you're like, man, do I have energy for this, you know, especially moving into the future. You know, you got a lot of these guys that move over there in their 60s and stuff, and they should be living just a retired person's life. Obviously, it's not like the old days, you know, when people expected, like, you know, like my father used to tell me when I was a kid, it's all downhill from 40, and he was 43 when he had me, so He was telling me, if you're going to have kids, do it while you're young. Do it while you're young enough and have the energy to keep up with them, you know, and play with them and stuff. Because it just keeps getting harder when you're older. You know, those were days, though, where people, you know, ran out of energy a couple of decades earlier than we do today, apparently. Plus, he had worked hard all his life, and every time you saw him, he had a pint mason jar of black coffee in one hand and a Lucky Strike in the other one, or else he was rolling his own with the Bugler pack that he had in his pocket. Another nice private jet. But as I told my wife, if something happens to her, man, I just can't see myself running out, getting involved with some other woman, you know, at that stage in my life. I'm hoping nothing ever happens to her, and I'm hoping I'm here till I'm 100, but, you know, guys move over there, and a lot of them think they're just gonna be on their own and make responsible decisions and just look after their nest egg and have their little life. And the main thing is, at least it's somewhere where they can afford to have a better life than they can over here in America or something on that kind of budget. And go and live out their remaining years. But man, it's like a drug, you know, when you get over there. Over here in America, you don't have college girls throwing themselves at you when you're an old man, just because you've got like $1,500, $2,000 a month or something. And over there, you do. You can live a whole new life. And people start feeling, man, you know, I'm young again. And they get that feeling. And next thing you know, they're involved with a woman, even though they know that maybe they can't afford to be. And then the next thing they're doing is they're bitching about how she's taking all their money. And they have to feed her and help out her family. One of the comments on my little public service announcement, you know, was pointing out the fact that you find some woman that starts demanding things, cut the chain and move on, you know. This other guy, he was kind of off the chain, I think. Yeah, it was kind of funny. Some people can't take a joke, or they don't know, they don't even recognize a joke, you know. And that's kind of sad, what it says about people. But yeah, I just thought that was really funny. But yes, it is true. You don't have to have a Filipina to move to the Philippines. I'm glad the guy was smart enough to be capable of figuring that out. Wow, brilliant. Like, he couldn't tell that was a joke to start with. But some people are so in such a rush to jump on something and prove what a brilliant genius they are, and put down the person who is making the video or putting out information or something. They never even stop to think what they're revealing about themselves whenever they can't even see what a joke is. So maybe he'll want to sue me for being so mean as to make a joke and not telling him up front it was a joke. Yeah, we live in a culture, though, where either people aren't smart enough to recognize what a joke is anymore, or a lot of them, they just get bent out of shape, you know, because they don't think that you should be allowed to make a joke about them. You see that a lot. Some of these different political activists in this world, you know, they just hate anyone. And if you make a joke about it, then you're evil and you're committing a hate crime by making a joke or something. It's kind of sad, but at the same time funny. You know, people like that are here for our amusement. And that's why we can keep having jokes, because there are some of us who recognize what a joke is, and we even don't mind telling them. But yes, you can move to the Philippines without owning a Filipina. You don't have to worry about that. Just want to make sure that part is real. But the fact that anyone would think there ever was, or that I thought there was, is funny.